Jasper, what did you see on the film after Georgetown, the good, the bad, some of the ugly?
It's a learning lesson. You can't win every game, but for sure you're going to try to. I know we have things that we need to work on. Working on some things in practice, with our prep. But it's a good lesson that we learn for sure.
How do you balance the highs of Purdue versus the lows of Georgetown, kind of finding the middle ground there?
It's something that comes with the game of basketball. Highs and lows. Can't get too high, can't get too low, but just always got to stay motivated. I know we're, I still think we're the best team in the country, so every team's going to come out and, give us their best shot, and we just got to be ready for it.
After those games, what are some areas of your game you think you really took strides in, and what's something you think you still need some work on?
Taking strides in, value in possession. I know I'm a young player, so watching film with Coach Pope and Coach Hart, talking to them, just telling me, they like my scoring ability, my creativity, but just value possession as much as possible. That's really what I've been working on.
How do you think the team responded from the loss? Was practice a little bit harder? Were you guys a little bit more focused these last couple of days?
Yeah, definitely. Going into the season, we've all worked our whole lives to get to this point, and it's coming soon. So we're all trying to lock in and trying to do whatever we can to have the best record as possible, win every game that we can. And but practice is always competitive, no matter win or loss. Like everybody's always even kill, but we all know the assignment.
And obviously you've played at Rupp 2 times now, but how are you feeling now that this is the first official game and stats start to count now?
I'm feeling confident. I still feel the same. I know stats can only play so much into it, but only thing I'm worried about is getting the win.
I know there were 2 exhibitions, but just hearing your name called when you got to check into the game, playing in front of, I'm sure, a lot of family and friends, just what was that Rupp Arena experience like for you the first 2 times?
Yeah, it was great. It was exciting. I dreamed of that moment, having my name called in the building and being able to play and showcase my talents. And I was really excited that I got to have the opportunity to do that.
Anything that surprised you or like nerves pregame from the first 2 exhibitions and things you can work on with that or keep the same going into tomorrow night?
I don't really have nerves. It's basketball. I know, what's going to happen every time I step on the floor. No matter who's watching me, I know I'm still going to be Jasper at the end of the day.
You're growing yourself, but you got Malachi and Braden doing the same alongside you. What strides have they made leading up to the first game?
They've made great strides. I know we're the freshmen of the team, so we're all getting extra reps, all extra lifting sessions, trying to put on more weight, get stronger. But I feel like we've all, have made great strides in our preparation before the season starts.
How do you prepare for a game one like this, knowing there's not a whole bunch of film on Nicholls? Like, what does the scouting and game planning part of this look like?
Can't underestimate anybody. I know Nicholls has a great team, great coaching staff, and I know they're coming in hungry, trying to, take us down. But, just can't overlook anybody. They have a few good players on their team that can, really hurt us in areas. So, just trying to do whatever we can to, be defensively focused and ready to go out and execute our game plan.
You've always been a guy that's had the ball in your hand, and although you're doing that a little bit now, how do you think you've adjusted to the off-ball movement, markup system, and improving in that regard?
I feel like I'm prepared for it. I've been playing on and off the ball my whole career. I know I'm a person who Coach Pope says has high gravity on the court on offense. So I know me making hard cuts and screening and getting my teammates open. I know we're an unselfish team, so the ball will come back to me whenever it's needed. But I'm just doing whatever I can to create opportunities for my teammates.
Speaking of being on the ball, obviously with DA out that last game, you and Colin were really the point guards in it. Some ups and downs. Talk a little bit about some of the things you like about being a point guard and some of the things maybe you don't like about being a point guard.
I like everything about being a point guard. Being a leader on the court. Getting my teammates involved, getting my teammates open. Just trying to be that coach on the court. Just navigating my players and trusting them and them trusting me. Trying to build their confidence as we go. But I'm definitely still learning for sure, but I've been working, so I'm getting better.
You talked about that off-ball movement a second ago. We hear Coach Pope talk all the time about Kentucky cuts and moving and getting the offense in that flow. Yeah. I guess to you, what does that mean, and what is it like kind of functioning in that system, and what do Kentucky cuts mean to this year's team?
Kentucky cuts is something that Coach Pope is, very high on. Cutting with great pace. it can create high value assist opportunities that we track in our offense, and it's something that you don't have to have the ball in your hands to be able to score, and that's something I'm trying to learn and figure out as I'm going. Talking to different scouts and different people and things like that, trying to see what I can do without the ball in my hands. And coming here is a way that I know I can help grow my game in that area.
Jasper, tomorrow night's for real. The other ones were just exhibition games. How much different is it at practice, and how excited are you to step out there in a real game?
Yeah, no different. I feel like every game I play is a real game. I never know when it could be my last, so I'm just trying to go out there and compete at a high level, and just try to bring wins into our program's history.
Last year's group kind of obsessed over every game being the biggest game of their lives. How is that messaging kind of overlapped this year with Pope and kind of saying, we had the big exhibition games, now a couple of, lower name teams than Louisville next week?
Coach Pope, it says, coming from a vet, the next game is always going to be the hardest game. Not overlooking Nicholls. I know they're a great team. Just trying to come in and be as prepared as possible, so that when we get into the game, we know what we can do and execute and just try to win.
How many friends and family you gonna have in there for your debut?
I'm gonna have a couple. I know I have a lot of friends that I probably won't be able to talk to, but that'll be there. That'll tell me good luck and stuff like that. That'll be at the games. But yeah, I have some family coming as well. But I'm very excited.
Is Dad gonna finally be able to make one?
Yeah, he is. He will.
Kind of on that note, just the support you've heard from people back in Woodford County who you went to high school with or played with and stuff. Just what's that been like since you've come back to town and since you've begun your career as a Kentucky Wildcat?
It's been good. Everybody's been telling me good job. They're excited to watch me play, and that they're hoping blessings for me and praying for me and things like that. So it's been great so far.
Jasper, how beneficial was it for you guys to play Purdue and Georgetown to start the year? Now that you're going into these other games that maybe not as big of teams as what you've already played.
It's been great. Playing the exhibition games is a chance that we can go out and compete versus other players. I know it kind of gets repetitive in the summer competing in practice with the same teammates, knowing what we're doing and stuff like that. But it is great to get out there and play versus other people and learn what we need to work on and see things that we're good at and see things that work and see things that don't. But it's just all in the part of the game of basketball. You can grow from a lot of different things, and I feel like it was a good feeling to go out there and compete versus other players.
Was there any messaging from Pope about how some of the best teams in Kentucky history lost an exhibition game or two and then kind of went on to have historic seasons?
Nah, he didn't really talk too much about that. The only message that he really gave to us was that we're going to learn from it as part of the game of basketball, wins and losses. But no matter what, we have to come out and protect home court. I know that it's a tradition, and the fans deserve to see better performances than what we gave. But we're definitely going to move on from that, but try to get better, learn the game, and try to compete at a high level every night.
Is there something to be said about feeling a loss in a Kentucky uniform in a game that doesn't count, knowing that hey, we're still 0-0, doesn't mean anything, but also kind of still getting the feel of a loss?
Yeah, definitely. I was definitely disappointed in myself. Me being from the city, I feel like I let them down going out there and losing the game like that. But just talking to Coach Pope, he just told me not to dwell on it. Try to move on, but still keep that fire in your heart for next game. But it definitely was a hurting feeling for me personally because I'm from here, and going out like that was never something that I would imagine.
I think that you guys got your freshman butterflies out of the way with those first two games, or do you feel like you'll feel some of those tomorrow night?
Speaking for myself, I never really had butterflies. I was just, ready to go out and play each and every night like it's my last. So I'm excited to looking forward to the game coming up. But I know it's a job that needs to be done at the end of the day.
So you had the same feeling like checking in for the Purdue game as you did like going into a OTE game?
Yeah, definitely. I take every game like it's my last, and I try to do whatever I can to, give the fans a good show and perform as high as I can.
You might have already answered this, but what did you learn from those two exhibition games outside competition for the first time with this group?
What I learned was, playing at the University of Kentucky, we're going to get everybody's best game. So just coming out and be prepared, and me playing more point guard the past couple games, talking to Coach Pope, watching more film with him and Coach Hart. just trying to learn to value possession more. Making Kentucky plays, try to create for my teammates and stuff like that, but, let the game come to me. So I've been learning.
What does that mean to you, Kentucky plays? Can you define that?
Yeah, Kentucky is, the best program in college basketball history, so we have to move differently with every aspect of the game. Coach Pope, talks about Kentucky plays, protecting the ball, Kentucky cuts, stuff like that. Things everybody does, but we just do them at a higher standard.
Did Jalen or Denzel either kind of talk to you when you were off, the court on the bench, just seeing things they were seeing from the sidelines?
Yeah, definitely. I know they're two veteran guys. Jalen Lowe and Denzel, have both played at a high level in college for multiple years, but yeah, they were definitely, telling me some hints and stuff like that, giving me tips on the sideline, going into the game, seeing I was playing point. And seeing that we were struggling on offensive end, just telling me what I should do to, try to help impact that, get some points on the board.
We've seen your dad on the sidelines of a high school football game. He likes to yell and scream. What's he like in the basketball stands? What do you expect him to be like tomorrow?
Usually, when my dad comes to my games, he sits at the very, very high top rows as far away as possible, because he's crazy. A lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, a lot of frustration. But this is the first game he'll be able to come to since he's been coaching. But I'm not sure what to expect from him, honestly.
Is it one of those things where sometimes people say they can pick out certain voices that they're familiar with? You think you'll be able to hear them with the crowd?
Yeah, I know I will. My dad's probably the only person on this earth who can, really get into my head when it comes to stuff like that. I know whenever I'm playing bad, he just does his little whistle that I know I'll be able to pick up and spot him. But I'm definitely excited that he'll be able to, come see me play in person.
But he's not sitting next to the banners.
He's trying to get as far away from me as possible because he knows I get mad whenever he's mad at me. So, it's exciting for sure.
How much does it help having Jalen, not just these past couple exhibition games or the last few weeks, but kind of the whole going back to the summer to kind of help your growth?
Yeah, me and Jalen have been competing, ever since I got back from USA. He's been telling me some tips and stuff like that, some of his experiences that he has as a freshman. But he's just a great guy to be around. He's a leader on the team. From everybody, he gives everybody tips and pointers and stuff like that. But he's a great guy in the locker room, especially. So he's just a guy with great character, and I know when he's healthy, he'll make a big impact on our team.
How much of a challenge is it, or something that you embrace? So many moving parts at the point guard spot. One game Jalen's out, one game Denzel out, and you not knowing necessarily what role you're going to be playing.
Yeah. Just always being ready. Getting more reps, every position I can. Being a point guard, you have to know everybody's position on the floor. So, I'm sure that whatever is needed from me, from Coach Pope, I'll be able to go out there and get that done as best as I can. So, just staying prepared.
What do you know about Nicholls? I know you guys scouted them a little bit. What do you know about that team?
Yeah, they're a great team. They have positionless size. Have very different lineups that will bring the ball up the floor from different positions and things like that. Trying to get downhill and create for teammates, but I know they're a great team for sure with great coaching staff. So definitely not going to overlook them. So I'm just trying to come in as ready as possible.
What was it that Georgetown did last week that kind of gave you guys some troubles on both sides of the court?
The physicality of the game. They pressured us a lot. Those were some things that had disrupted us. Kind of made us uncomfortable. But I know we've been working on it. The way that their defense had guarded our offense was a different read that we hadn't seen yet. But we prepared for it. We've been learning it. Watch the film. Trying to lead the game in the past, but just trying to be ready for the next one.
What specifically about the defense was it that maybe you guys hadn't seen yet or you've been working on since then?
Just the part where the physicality of it, them pressuring us, like I said, a different type of switching that they did on defense that really slowed us down. But I know we're built on pace and space, so working on that in practice with different defensive looks has been getting us better.
I know you don't have anything to compare it to last season, but how beneficial do you think it was to play at Purdue and Georgetown before the season actually starts, as opposed to maybe some lower division?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. We're at the University of Kentucky, so, why not play the best while we can and see where we are in the year before the season starts. So I feel like playing those two teams were a great test for us.
Well, BG, how does this day compare to a year ago, the day before your first Kentucky game?
Yeah, I feel like it's the same, just very excited, and just ready to go out there, and get this first win. It's a season opener, so more locked in and stuff, and just knowing that the season finally here.
Do you prepare any different, like mentally or at all, about knowing you're probably going to be starting tomorrow night as opposed to last night?
I try not to like overthink it and stuff. I still, just try to go out there, play my game, help my team the best I can. But, just more locked in and, just means more and stuff like that. But I don't try to overthink nothing.
After you watched the Georgetown game the other night, what have you guys learned, and how have you guys kind of taken that in and going to apply it to tomorrow night?
Yeah, just knowing that we go get, everybody's best shot, just no off nights, just teaching all the guys that, especially the new guys here, just the vets telling them, like, even if it's like a sorry team or something like that, we go get everybody best shots, they're going to make every shot versus us. So just knowing that going into the season, I feel like we needed that game against them, very good team, and they hit us in the mouth. So just knowing that and going into the season ready.
Was there a few things that they did in particular that really knocked you all off, or was something that you all didn't do that you did against Purdue, or anything in particular?
I feel like they were just, playing hard, scrappy and stuff, making every shot, like I said, but we just had to buy in on defense, and we came in the next day, and worked on that and made big steps in that. So I feel like we're going to show it tomorrow night.
What was the film session like Friday morning, the morning after the loss? What was the mood in there? What was the vibe?
It obviously wasn't like happy vibes in there, but, Coach let us know, what we need to work on and stuff, and I feel like everybody, took what Coach gave out and stuff, and we moved on from it, washed that film away and went into practice, and learned from what we watched in film.
What were the practices like especially after that film session, after the Thursday loss? Were they more spirited than usual, or was it back to kind of normal?
It was still normal, I feel like coaches, he don't, necessarily change something or like go out his way, if we lose a game, but just focus on like what we, need to do and how to get better and the stuff that we didn't do as well in the game.
How much have you guys scouted Nicholls, and what do you know about that team?
Yeah, so we started to scout Saturday on them, but just physical team. Everybody on their team can really shoot. Athletes, and they go come out here hungry just like every other team. They get to play in Rupp Arena. Everybody dream of it, so just going out there and giving it our all.
What was it like being out there without both Jalen and Denzel? Did anything feel off from that?
I feel like nothing felt off, wish we had them on the court, but I feel like the guys who stepped up, I feel like they did, their job and, try to help us get that win. I feel like nothing was really just off since they was missing, but, guys had to step up, and I feel like they did.
How have those two been doing the last few days, Denzel and Jalen?
They've been doing great, they've been, in practice, getting reps, getting their treatment with B-Wells and, getting a little extra workouts in. So, when we need them, they're ready.
What does Denzel bring that's maybe unique, or maybe what are you guys maybe missing when he's not out there?
I'll say just like he won a national championship, so just the leadership he got, he's a senior vet, so, I'll really just say like that leadership, but I feel like the dudes that come in behind him, they try to, mock Denzel in the leadership role. So I feel like we wasn't really missing, that much out there.
Is it any different in an exhibition game, like for the younger guys more so? Like, is it going to ramp up, against Nicholls? Is it any different? You got to play in Rupp twice.
Yeah.
But, is it still different when it counts?
Yeah, I feel like when they stepped on the court, they showed everybody, they been in college, you couldn't tell like it was their first game, but I feel like the freshmen that we have, they go help us this season, get big time wins, and I feel like they was ready just from like where they was prepared from.
How much better was it for you guys to play Purdue and Georgetown in those two games as opposed to kind of some lower division teams like you did last season?
Yeah, I feel like it was great. You know, we played a number one team, and then we played another great team in a Big East physical team. So I feel like those games go help us, you know, with these openers we got, you know, and with the season that we about to have, you know. But I feel like we needed those games just to see like where we at, you know, and just playing, you know, great talent, I'll say.
What I remember last year, it was I think it was Kobe told me that like you would sometimes set those hard screens, especially early in practice, and people would maybe take exception. It seems like with this team, maybe the vibe's a little different. Is it more physical in practice? Is there more of that stuff? Yeah,
I'll say it's more physical and competitive for sure. Just because, like, you know, we have obviously more guys, so we've been scrimmaging a lot against each other, you know, and I feel like every time we scrimmage or going against, you know, blue-white, you know, it's competitive, you know, it's trash talking, like, it's just great vibes out there. But yeah.
I know Malachi was kind of around the team a lot last season as a recruit because obviously went to high school not far away, came to a lot of games. Did you realize how like big and strong he was before you got out there playing?
I mean, I really didn't, you know, but, you know, just going out there playing with him, and plus this summer, I feel like, you know, he's huge, obviously, and he put on a lot of muscle, so he's strong. But I feel like that's helping me out, you know, get ready for games, you know, and just helping me get better. So I thank him for it.
Yeah, what's been the benefit of that? You got Mo, you got Malachi, Andrea, it seems like, has really come along the last 2-3 weeks. Yeah. Just from the physicality perspective, what does that mean for you personally?
Oh yeah, just knowing, like, you know, I obviously played in the Big 12 before in the SEC, but just having those guys, you know, in practice and stuff and helping us win, I just feel like it's helping us all. It's just because I feel like we're going to be more prepared just because, like, you know, they're physical, great talent, so just preparing us for when we get to SEC play or, like, when we play those tough teams and stuff.
Does it ever get out of hand? Like, anybody have to be separate?
I mean, a couple times, you know, but, you know, it's all out of love, you know, and like I said, we're very competitive, so, you know, it happens, and I feel like that's a part of basketball, and, like, it's what makes it fun, I'll say.
Have you ever been on a team like that before where it's that competitive all the time?
Nah, probably not this competitive. Like, it happened this year.
What's it been like playing with Mo in the actual exhibition games? You've gotten to go up against him, but you kind of played together, or it seems like at least starting together. Just what's the synergy that you all have in the front court together?
Yeah, you know, just the physicality, you know, and I feel like we both buy in on the defensive end, you know, mainly. But, you know, Mo is a very great player, strong dude, as everybody can tell. But yeah, he go do the dirty work, you know, and I feel like everybody loves players like that because, you know, he go get the loose balls, you know, scrap forward, you know, always have it back. So yeah.
Have you seen Ortega take on more of a leadership role going into this season?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, after the Saturday practice, you know, Coach gave him his kudos and stuff just because he been every single day. He been, you know, leading us, you know, being more vocal because it wasn't like he was vocal last year, but, you know, not as in a bigger leadership role as he is in this year. But, you know, Coach gave his kudos and let everybody know in front of the team. So I feel like he been doing a great job on that.
We don't really talk about him too much, it feels like, even though he's SEC preseason player of the year. He missed a bunch of time off during the summer. How have you seen him kind of acclimate himself back into practice since returning, and does he look like the same old Ortega? Yeah.
I feel like he does. You know, he missed a lot of time in the summer, and, you know, he was always trying to get on the court, you know, but they had to stop him and stuff. But once he came back, it was just regular Ortega. Like, you know, he was in shape, you know, even though I thought he wasn't going to be in shape, but, you know, he came back doing the old stuff he do, and I was like, that's impressive. So, yeah, it's like, you know, he's still growing, you know, he been here every night getting shots up and stuff, so, yeah.
Brennan, how do you think the team responded to the loss on Thursday? What was practice like maybe Friday, Saturday, and see any differences from the coaches?
I feel like, you know, everybody, you know, was just shocked just because, you know, we came out with that big-time win, but, you know, that's just proving, you know, everybody gonna give us their best shot. So, but like I said, you know, practice and, you know, film, you know, we got a little chewed out and stuff, obviously, but practice was normal. You know, we worked on the stuff that we watched in film that we needed to work on. But other than that, I feel like we washed that film away, you know, and focus on Nicholls State.
And obviously, you know, it gets real tomorrow night. I'm sure you're a little bit more confident, a little bit more used to this now than you maybe were last year. Talk a little bit about the differences heading into your first game at Kentucky compared to last year?
Yeah, I feel like nothing, changed much, just more of a leadership role, and just going out there more focused than ever, trying to help my brothers get this big time, season opener win in a row.
You talked about leadership a couple of times. Last year you had, 7 seniors or whatever was on the team. What's the difference been, and how have you stepped up, and who else has really stepped up to lead the team?
Yeah, like I gave Otega his kudos, because I feel like last year he was a leader, but he was, kind of quiet, and just go out there and kill and do what he do. But I feel like he really been leading us this year, just on and off the court, just his behavior, how he talks to us and stuff, and like helping the younger guys and the guys behind him and stuff. So I give him his kudos.
Well, you're still a young buck yourself.
Yeah.
But have you decided to take a little more of a, especially with Jaden not being able to play, have you taken a little more of a role?
Oh yeah, for sure. That was big talks with Coach this offseason. Just him telling me I gotta be in a more leadership role just because I've been here. And I'm a returning player, but I feel like I've been doing great as it. Talking more than I ever talked. I feel like Coach been helping me with that, and the guys is buying in and listening to me.
What have you been telling maybe the young guys, Jasper, some other guys, ahead of their first big college game?
Yeah, just go out there, do what they do. Talented people, things go happen, but just look to us and turn to us. As Coach always tell us, but just go out there, don't overthink nothing, and just play his game.
Sorry, it's been asked this before, but obviously there's not a whole lot of film out there on Nicholls' first game of the season for both teams. Just what's it been like, especially from the scout team's perspective, as they try and give you guys a look at what your opponents are going to be, and how valuable is it to have those walk-ons and scout team guys preparing you guys for games like this?
Yeah, like I said, there are a whole bunch of athletic shooters. 1 through 5 can bring it up the court, so I feel like our scout team started on Saturday, just mocking what they do, and I feel like they give us their best shot so we can be prepared for those games.
Yeah, I mean, we've been here for a year now as well, just watching the prep that the scout team and the walk-ons give you guys. How much does that help you guys when it's preparation for maybe unfamiliar opponents like this?
Yeah, it gives us a lot just because, our scout team actually, they all played. We got a couple guys who just left college, who actually played. We got some, bigs that played overseas, so I feel like they give us their best run. They always try to beat us every day, and I feel like that's helping us, get better, and get ready for these games.
I don't know if you saw it, but Kobe scored his first NBA basket last night in a game. Obviously, we had some on the outsider side. Lamont hurt himself or got hurt last week. How much have you been keeping up with some of your teammates from last year?
Yeah, so Amari actually called me a couple weeks ago, just checking in. That's my dog, so he was just telling me how he's adjusting there, just telling me how it goes there and how much free time he got now and don't know what to do with it. So I think that's why he actually called me. But I spoke to him. He was just telling me, I got to have a big season this year. Just helping me out. And Lamont, we always texting and stuff. Also, sad, that happened to him. But I feel like he's very great-minded, so it's not bothering him as much. But just keeping him in my prayers and stuff. And then Kobe, we talked and we told him congratulations on his first bucket, and we're going to have a hell of a season.
Then talking about a big year, obviously McDonald's All-American a couple years ago, starting this year. Do you feel any maybe extra added pressure knowing that, hey, this is my time to shine and potentially get into the NBA draft in just a couple months?
Yeah, just going out there, not overdoing me, just playing my game and, just going out there and get wins. I feel like get big time wins, play how I play, don't overdo nothing. That'll help me out a lot.
Speaking of moving into the starting lineup, I noticed that Malachi seems to be the handshake guy this year coming out of the lineups.
Yeah.
Just how did that go down and kind of break down your handshake with him?
So we actually did it right before we was about to walk out there. But, we just kept it simple. He came up with something. He got handshakes with us all, so it's really our handshake that he made up with us. So I feel like that's why we chose him to do the handshakes, because we already have handshakes with him. So we just did our handshake and added one more thing. So I feel like it was very simple.
So was this actually something where he was kind of decided upon, all right, you'll be the guy to go to the end and dap everyone up?
Yeah, for sure. So we was it was actually the day before the game. I was asking Otega, I was like, dang, who go do the handshakes? He was like, oh, Malachi go do it. So it was simple.
Does he have any with Coach Pope or any of the coaches they got their own handshakes too?
Yeah, so I have one with Coach AB and Coach McHale and Willis. And he has them with, I think, most of the staff. You know, he remembers all that. I have a hard time doing that. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how hard is this to keep track of like which one to do with which guy?
Yeah, it's, you know, I'm new to it, so you know, I try to have handshakes with everybody, but I forget them most of the time when they get mad, so we just don't do it sometimes.